Silicon really loves the myth of being first, that when you look at who actually wins market, the story gets a lot more interesting. Most of today's biggest tech companies weren't first. Google wasn't the first search engine. Facebook wasn't the first social network. Apple rarely invent new categories. They refine what's already there. So what does it really take to succeed as a first mover? Oh, it's better to follow. Today I'm going to show you what actually wins. First mover advantage in simple terms is the idea that the first significant enter in a market can gain a lasting competitive edge. The belief is straightforward. If you arrive early, you can build brand recognition first, win customer loyalty, and lock in key resources before anyone else shows up. This idea became popular in business circles in the late 80s after research by Stanford professors. They identified three main sources of what's called first mover advantage. First, technological leadership. If you are first to work with a new technology, you move faster on learning curve. You may secure patents or develop proprietary know-how. In biotech, for example, winning a patent race can mean exclusive rights for years. But without real protection, this advantage fades quickly. Second, preemption of scarce assets. First movers can grab valuable resources early, like suppliers, partnerships, or allocations. Walmart is a classic example. Sam Walton was first to see the potential of big box stores in small towns. He locked a cheap land and built a distribution network competitors couldn't easily replicate later. By staking claim early, Walmart preempted advantages others never got access to. Third, switching costs and brand loyalty. The first significant player can build a customer base early. If users invest time, data, or identify into a product, they hesitate to switch. They show this clearly. More buyers attract more sellers, and more sellers attract more buyers. The platform became more valuable with every new user. In theory, these advantages allow a first mover to define the market on its own terms. They shape expectations, they set standards, they become the reference point for everyone who follows. Amazon did exactly this. As one of the first main online retailers, Amazon relies on live shopping like fast delivery or reliability. Its early scale created economies that later entrants couldn't match, like warehouses, logistics, supply relationship, and all that became extremely hard to cross. So far, being first sounds pretty great, but here is the important part. None of these advantages are automatic, and none of them are permanent. Each can be eroded by competition, timing, or execution mistakes. Why do startups fight to be first? Is it fame, fortune, or something else entirely? The truth is, being first comes with advantages, if you know how to use them. The first to introduce something new grabs attention, and you become the name people associate with the category. Think Uber equal ride-hailing, ChatGPT LLMs, or Google it even through Google wasn't the first search engine. Early buzz can attract users, talent, and investors and set a standard everyone else is measured against. Platforms grow faster when they are first. They reach critical mass because buyers went where sellers were, and sellers went where buyers were. Uber worked the same way. Momentum can snowball until winner takes all advantage. Being first lets you write the rulebook. Amazon's one-click checkout and 2 days shipping become benchmark competitors had to match. Once customers get used to your ecosystem, switching feels like a hassle, creating and building loyalty. First movers can lock in key suppliers, partners, or talent before competitors even notice. Imagine a new food delivery startup that sings the best restaurants first. Newcomers are loved as fabs. These early moves can build barriers for everyone who comes later. Being first gives time to experiment, fix mistakes, and optimize operations. Early scale can lower costs and create efficiency competitors struggle to match. Early scale can lower costs and create efficiency competitors struggle to match. Do it right and you might corner the market. They, Netflix, Google show how patterns, proprietary tech, and strong networks can protect a lead for years. Sounds amazing, right? But for every Amazon, there is a Barnes & Noble. For every eBay, that one. Being first can bring huge advantages, but it's never guaranteed. Sometimes being first is the hardest job in business. Consider these disadvantages and challenges that first movers frequently face. First, market education costs. You have to teach people why your product even matters. Early online learning platforms like Udemy had to convince teachers and students that virtual classes were real alternatives to in-person learning. That evangelizing is slow, costly, and exhausting. Later entrants just benefit from your groundwork. Second, high R&D and setup costs. First movers spend massive amounts figuring out everything from tech to supply chains. Gillette reportedly spent over $700 million developing the mastery, only to be undercut years later by Dollar Shave Club's cheaper and faster solution. You pay the full price of trial and error. Third, no blueprint. At the Pioneer, there is no map. Friendster scaled quickly, but technical issues and poor user management drove early adopters away, directly into Facebook's arms. Even when you succeed, success paints a target on your back. Being first often triggers a swarm of competitors, somebody who owns love. Meerkat launched mobile first streaming first, but Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook features crush it. Wrigley's pioneered online classifieds, but Airbnb leveraged it to build a niche and dominate. Innovation is uncharted waters can clash with laws. Uber faces city boycotts, taxi unions, and regulators around the world. First movers bear the legal and bureaucratic burden. First movers go all in, which makes failure brutal. Google was, for example, invested heavily in futuristic eyewear that flawed, but it validated the market for others to try again. Pioneers carry the risk with no fallback. Early success can blind you. Ford rested on a Model T while GM innovated and overtook. Early social networks like MySpace failed to evolve, leaving the space for Facebook to dominate. Winning early can make you slow, arrogant, or inflexible. Staying on top is exhausting. You're constantly defining your position, responding to attacks, and fending off competitors. Meanwhile, followers attack aggressively. They nibble and humble while you're busy defending. In short, being first means doing the hardest work and taking the biggest risk, only some of which will pay off. It's worth dispel the myth that first movers always win. In fact, many first movers failed, and the ultimate winners were often those who enter at the right time with superior execution. First mover or smart follower? Which one really wins? Let's see why execution beats being first. Friendster was the pioneer of social networking. Back in 2002, it blew out. Millions of users joined and it looked unstoppable. But there was a problem. The site couldn't handle the traffic. Pages were slow, crashes were common, and frustration grew. By the time Friendster tried to fix it, Facebook was rolling out in 2004 slowly and carefully. They learned from Friendster's mistake like controlled growth, smooth user experience, and reliability. When Facebook opened to the public, users didn't think twice. Friendster's advantage vanished. Today, Facebook's triumph is often cited as proof that being the best can beat being the first. Amazon, on the other hand, shows how the first mover can win, but it's not easy. Starting in 1995, online shopping was completely unproven. Amazon had to earn trust, build warehouses, develop a website, and invest millions before seeing a profit. Years later, it has started paying off, like Prime, fast shipping, unbeatable logistics. Amazon didn't rest, it kept reinventing itself with marketplaces, AWS, and more. Here, being first gave a massive advantage, but only because they executed relentlessly and never got complacent. Uber popularized ride-hailing globally, starting in 2010. Being first helped it attract drivers and riders fast, creating a strong network effect. But first mover doesn't mean untouchable. Leads come later. Learning from Uber's own mistakes, position itself as friendlier, and in some markets even outpace Uber. Uber also had to fight regulatory battles in multiple countries, battles Lyft could avoid. Today, Uber is still the leader, but the gap isn't uncatchable. First First movers get a head start, but followers can close it fast if they are smart. Yahoo was first in search, but got replaced by Google. MySpace led social networking, but lost to Facebook. IBM Sun was the first smartphone, but Apple's iPhone checked the gate. The takeaway: first mover advantage is real, but it's not a guarantee. Timing, execution, and the ability to adapt are what truly decide for wins. So, how should a founder decide whether to pursue a first mover strategy or to be a fast follower? Here are some key considerations and actionable insights. Ask yourself, do people even know they need what you are building? If you have to spend a fortune just educating customers, you might be paving the way for someone else. Sometimes it pays to wait, let the market mature, and then enter with better product. Timing often beats being first. If you go first, don't just be early. Create real moats. Patterns, popularity tag, exclusive partnerships, network effects, loyal communities. These are what keeps followers from swooping in and doing better. Being first alone won't save you, but being hard to copy will. First mover advantage is temporary unless you're continuously earning. Think Amazon. They didn't stop at books. They built logistics, cloud services, and kept innovating. Complacency is a first mover's biggest enemy, as young competitors are right behind you, because they really are. Being first often costs years of losses to build trust, infrastructure, or awareness. Do you have money and patience to play that long game? If not, a fast follower strategy when you're entering after the market is proven but before it's crowded can be smarter. Timing and execution matter more than being first. Be ready to pivot if the market changes or a competitor copies you. Even if you're not first, you can still win by focusing on what the pioneer got wrong, like better product, better service, or a niche they ignored. Agility is a founder's friend. Going first doesn't always mean you have to dominate forever. Sometimes the goal is to validate a concept and exit strategically. Instagram wasn't the first photo-sharing app, but it was early, executed well, and sold Facebook. First movers can cash in by proving the market works and let bigger players scale it. First mover advantage is neither a guaranteed golden ticket nor a complete myth. It's a strategy with trade-off. The decision to be first should hinge on your specific market conditions and your staff's capabilities. If the rewards of being early are high and you have a way to protect and capitalize on the lead, going first can indeed confer a big advantage. But if the path is unclear, the cost too high, or your solution not quite ready for prime time, you might actually benefit from letting someone else go first and then out executing them as a fast follower. Remember that timing and execution offer outweigh simply being first. There is no single best time to enter market. Not too early, not too late, but when you are prepared to deliver. For startup founders, the real advantage comes from being the best mover, not just the first. So, good luck! Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. Check the links below and follow us on social media for more tips and updates. And if you're ready to take your startup to the next level, visit molfar. We will help you build fast and smart. Catch you next time!